Geology. So these are the course instructions for Geology 1313 online. So first, always make sure to access your course in the actual course, meaning don't just rely on messages, don't just rely on the Blackboard main page to be able to link to quizzes or exams or whatever. Make sure that you're actually going into your specific class. Now, don't worry if this is not your specific CRN or your specific section. These are general instructions for all of my 1313 sections, okay? So once you go into the specific class, then you're going to see all of the different materials that you should be accessing on a weekly basis. So we're actually going to start here on the class information folder. So folder means that there's going to be several things within the folder that you'll need to look at. In this specific folder, then you have your syllabus, your calendar, and your instructions. And that's pretty much what I'm going over with this video. So the first thing is, again, the instructions as I'm going through it with you, but here they're in a written form. So if you click on this, and I've already opened it, so it goes a little bit quicker, it's going to have the main things that you're responsible for, where I expect you to contact me. So Blackboard message is the best thing. And this one usually takes 24 hours or so. So in a day, I should be able to get back to you. I try to do that sooner, but up to 24 hours. If you have an emergency, you need to ask me something right away. Here's my cell number, and I'm okay with you texting or calling me afternoons or weekends. If I can't get to it at, sometimes students are working at 3 in the morning. If I can't get to it right away, then I'll, that's the first thing I'll see in the morning, and then I'll respond at that point. But again, if you require a quick answer, don't hesitate to call or text me at this number. If you can wait, Blackboard message or email is also an option. Excuse me. Let's see what else. So another thing to keep in mind is that all materials are always going to be due Sundays at 10 p.m. Okay, I know different classes have different deadlines, but for my classes, and this is again so I can be available to you before the deadline. So it's always going to be for everything. Everything is always due Sunday at 10 p.m. Okay, so always keep that in mind. We'll go through the format of the class right now, so I'll actually show you where all of these things are located. But for every chapter that we cover, you'll have a PowerPoint presentation. Obviously, you're expected to read the chapter for that particular assignment. So you have a PowerPoint, you have a quiz, which you will take within Blackboard. This one you can take twice, and it'll keep the highest of the 2 grades. And then you'll also have a Pearson mastering assignment, and this is that code that I have in the syllabus. You'll need a code to access these particular materials. Okay, let's see. So let's go back to the folder, Geology course. Then you have your syllabus, and again, make sure that you're reading this carefully for all the information that you need. So it has, again, my cell number is right there. Blackboard messages within the class, and then you have my email address as well. Here are the course objectives, so the main topics that we're going to be covering for the duration of the semester. You also have how your grade is going to be calculated. Notice half of it comes from the exams, and these are at the end of each unit. You have those chapter quizzes that I mentioned. So for every chapter, you have one of these that you're responsible for. I do drop the lowest grade automatically, so if you miss one, then you're okay. Just make sure not to make it a habit, because then it, of course, starts to hurt your grade. And then for every chapter, you also have a mastering assignment, which you will access through the Mastering Pearson link. And I'll show you where that is located in a second. Now, if you're taking a short semester, so summers and winter semesters, then you won't have a final exam. Okay, so again, just because those go so fast, we really don't have time to have a comprehensive final exam. Regular semesters, then you do have a final exam during finals week. For attendance, since this is an online class, you're not expected to be logging in every single day, but you are expected to log in and work on your assignments every week. So if I see that you haven't been working on assignments, I will send you an email to remind you. to see if there's a problem. But if not, then there is a possibility that you can be dropped. If I don't, if you haven't logged in 2 weeks or something, then other than me not dropping you, then you'll probably get a very low grade at the end of the semester. So make sure that you're going into the class, completing assignments on a weekly basis. So no makeup exams. We'll go through the calendar in a second. And again, you should always keep track of all of the deadlines within that calendar. So there's no reason for not knowing when something is due. As we mentioned right now, Sunday at 10 is the deadline for all weekly assignments. And that includes exams as well. The textbook that we'll be using is Earth. And there's several options on how to purchase the book. You can get it as an e-text, you can get it as a loose leaf, or you can get it as a hard copy. You can, of course, also rent it in different places. You could get an older edition. So whatever works best for you in terms of the textbook. You do get, regardless of what version of the text you're getting, you do need to make sure to buy the mastering code, because this is how you're going to access your Pearson assignments. So the mastering code by itself is about $40, or the publisher bundles it up again with different versions of the textbook for different prices. But regardless of what textbook option you get, you do need to get the mastering code, which again is for $40, and it's actually good for 2 years. So make sure that you save that code in case you need it again, or you can pass it on to a friend or something. When we get started, you actually have access to a 2-week free trial. So if you don't have the money to buy it right away, or just to get started, you can just go ahead and access the free trial, and this gives you access to the code with the mastering assignments and also to the e-textbook. So you don't have to lose any time or any assignments in case you're waiting for money, or you just haven't had a chance to go through the purchasing option. So make sure that you take advantage of that if you need to. Now, obviously, like with any class, whatever materials you are turning in should be your own. You do sometimes need to do a little bit of research or something like that, but you always need to make sure that you're giving credit where credit is due and not taking it as your own. So like any other class, make sure that if it has your name on it, it's your own work. If you have a disability, make sure that you go through the disabilities office so we can make proper accommodations. Grading scale, just the regular grading scale. Extra credit opportunities. Right now when we look at the calendar, you'll see that each one of these is scheduled with a specific exam. So this is just a brief description of each one of those. These really do help out at the end quite a bit, because these go directly into your exam grade. So you'll see it as a separate column on your grades, where you have each one of these is 5 points. But again, those 5 points go into an exam directly. Okay, so it helps a lot. I would really, really recommend that you work on those. Now again, the official calendar, don't rely on Blackboard. The official calendar is a PDF that I have for you. Make sure that you print that out and that you keep that so you know exactly what you're supposed to be working on every single week. So let's go ahead and go back to that main page, and here's the calendar. Now again, this is the official calendar, so if you're just relying to access things through the main Blackboard page, sometimes, especially like the Pearson stuff, that's not going to appear on Blackboard because that's a link that goes outside of Blackboard. So you always need to make sure, and here's the one for this particular class. Again, don't worry if you have a different class, your calendar is going to reflect your specific deadlines. But notice here, this particular one is a short class, so we have different chapters due each particular week. So the calendar tells you the chapters. You have Monday through Sunday to complete each one of these chapters. As we mentioned right now, there's a PowerPoint, there's a quiz, and a mastering assignment for each one of these. So at the end of the unit, then you're going to have, in this 1 week, I opened it early because it's Christmas. So in case you want to take the weekend off or something. So you will have access to the exams Thursday through Sunday. Most other weeks it'll be Friday through Sunday. And here's those extra credits that were mentioned in the syllabus. So with chapter 1, you can turn in this video summary, okay? And you'll see an assignment folder that opens right underneath the exam for you to upload the video summary if you want to do that extra credit. But once again, you have Monday through Sunday to work on all of these chapters: a PowerPoint, a quiz, and a mastering assignment, and then an exam at the end of the week. So if we go back here, so again, this is just all of the different information materials that I have for you. So let's go and see the actual material. So over here, this is where you access, this is where you first register your code, or this is where you can start your 2-week free trial, or once you have the code, you can actually input it through here to access your assignments. So again, I've opened this already. So this is, again, notice here's our textbook, and these are the assignments. Here's the e-text as well. If you want to access the e-text through here, then that's where you would do it. And you also have some other additional resources that the publisher has for students. So here's the deadline. So again, all of these are going to follow the calendar that we just looked at. They're going to open on Monday at 6 in the morning, and they're going to close Sunday at 10 o'clock. Again, even if you're working on it, the deadline is a deadline, so things are going to close automatically. Whether you're in Pearson or whether you're in Blackboard, it's just going to close at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Okay, so make sure that you give yourself plenty of time, especially in the beginning when you have to set up your code or register with Pearson. You know, there's always issues that can arise. You know, we try, of course, the best we can so that there are no issues, but technology sometimes fails at the least desired time. So give yourself ample time. Don't work on this Sunday at 9 at night, because if anything were to happen, whether it's the internet, whether it's your browser, whether it's Pearson, it's very little time for us to try to fix it because you procrastinated till the very end. So make sure to try access these early enough. So let's see. Again, this is going to follow the calendar exactly as it's set up in your Blackboard, okay? So these are the Pearson assignments. Most browsers will work pretty well, but again, you might have to try different ones if you have any issues. That's usually the easiest fix, just to switch browsers. So let's go back to course materials. So here's the actual folder where each one of those chapters are going to be found. So the ones that we saw, notice this corresponds to that Unit 1 in the calendar. So Unit 1 has these chapters and then an exam at the end. So go over here, you click on your particular unit, and you'll see for each of those chapters you have, this is the PowerPoint and a PDF, and this is a quiz that you take over that information. I suggest that you download these, so they're only going to be available for the week that they're open. So you might want to have those handy in a separate file. So these can be downloaded, and then here's the quiz. It is a time quiz, and notice it always tells you what the setup for each particular quiz or an exam is. Make sure that you read through this. So notice these are timed for an hour. The test will close and save automatically when the time expires. So if you open it at 9:30, it's still going to close at 10. Okay, now this is very important. Notice if for some reason you get disconnected, you can get right in if you still have time. So if you log out, the timer continues to run. So once you open it, you have 1 hour to complete it. Okay. For these, you actually have 2 attempts. So you're able to take it twice, and it will be the highest of the 2 scores that is kept within Blackboard. So notice at this point, you still have the option to either start or cancel. So you can read the instructions and you can still cancel if you don't want to take it at that particular time. So again, each chapter will have notes, a quiz, and then the mastering assignment that we saw over here. Okay, in the beginning you do have these extra assignments like Introduction to Mastering, and that's just one of the ways in which the Pearson site checks that you have the correct browser and that you're going to be able to view materials for the class. So again, that's just following the calendar. When the weekend comes along, then underneath your unit folder, you'll see your exam. Okay, so that's a unit exam that covers all of these chapters. And just like the quiz, it is timed. For this one, you get 3 hours. But once you begin, then the clock will keep running. Okay, exams are a combination of matching, multiple choice, and short answer. Of course, by the time you're taking the exam, you should have read all of your chapters. You should have gone through the PowerPoint. You should have done the mastering and taking your quizzes. All of those things are preparing you to take the exam. Now, all of those things do take time. Remember, that's one of the things with online classes. You're still taking the time that you would if you were attending class, which is usually anywhere between 3 to 4 hours of class time plus the homework that you would be assigned. So, take all of that into consideration. You do need to plan your time wisely so that you don't end up doing everything at the last minute. Underneath the exam, you have the extra credit. Okay, so this would again open that particular week. So if you choose to do the extra credit, this is where you would upload it. Make sure that you use a PDF or Word document so that Blackboard can actually read it. Otherwise, I might not be able to open it. So those are the two formats that you should be using for all of your uploads. So that should give you a good introduction of what's expected from you in class. So if you have any questions, again, make sure you can message me right here, or you can text me or call me if you need a quicker answer. So try to get started as soon as possible so that if there's any issues, then we have time to address them. Best of luck, and let me know if you have any questions.